Are you smelling toast right now, bro? How's your left arm?
Welcome to another episode of How Stupid People Succeed. I'm Josh, this is Jeremy, and this is our lovely guest, Elizabeth Moore from Royal Family Kids.
Hi. And before we go any further, to cut you off, very rude, we treat our guests very well.
Welcome to the show.
We have 2 free tickets to the Starfish Gala. The Starfish Gala is February 29th. It will be the first major event at the new Brickyard event location downtown. We're going to give these away. So here's the challenge. Here's the goal. 20 shares. We're going to randomly go through, pick one of the 20 shares we get on Facebook.
I thought you said 50.
Okay, we'll go 50. 50 shares. It's for
aggressive.
The kids.
That's aggressive.
So if you don't do it, you don't love children.
That's right.
50 shares, and we're going to pick one person at random, and we're going to give them 2 free tickets to the gala. Also, in every description, there's going to be a link directly to the Royal Family Kids Camp PayPal account. We're going to challenge all of our listeners, all the viewers, to raise $750 to send a kid to camp. Now, since we're throwing that out there, Elizabeth, why don't you give us an idea of what Royal Family Kids Camp is for somebody that doesn't know, or what we're talking about sending a kid to camp?
Is it for all the kids?
It is not for all of the kids. So Royal Family Kids is actually a nonprofit organization that started 30 years ago in California and came to Marion in 2001. And basically what we do is we just work to break the cycle of abuse and neglect for these kids. So all of the kids that we take to camp, and then subsequently some of them go to our mentoring club, have been identified by Marion County Children's Services as abused or neglected, and they are between the ages of 7 and 11. So what we do is we take them out for an entire week of camp, which costs us about $650. It's a lot of money. We treat them royally. That is our main...
Per kid.
And we take between 45 to 50 kids to camp. So that costs a lot of money. And then we actually started this year our mentoring program as well. And that's about $200 to $300 per child as well. So we take the kids to camp, and then this year we picked 10 of those kids to be a part of the mentoring club.
Now, if you would, one of the things that shocked me was at the camp, the birthday party. So if you would share a little bit about the birthday party at camp.
So one of the things that we have found nationally is that kids who are in foster care, their birthdays get forgotten. And so what we do at camp is we celebrate everybody's birthday. And I actually have some great stories from celebrating kids' birthdays with them at camp. This year it will be a Wednesday. That's what we've done the past couple of years. Every once in a while we change it up. We have a gigantic party, and the past couple of years we've done something a little bit different. So we get donated formal dresses for the girls and dress them up as princesses. They get their hair done, they get their makeup done, they just feel very special. And then take them, they're escorted down to our dining hall, and we just dance with them and eat dinner and just have a great time. Now the boys don't really care about that as much.
Yeah.
And so last year we did a video game truck for them, which was incredible.
That's awesome.
They bring out this trailer that has PS4s, Xbox, all of those great and wonderful things. And they play video games and they just love it. It's a blast. And so then we also give them, because you can't have a birthday party without gifts, so we give them gifts. One of those gifts in the past has also been a brand new book bag with school supplies that was donated by a local church. And these girls have these amazing gifts, and their dolls and jewelry and whatever the birthday bag had that year. And the kids are tearing into the gifts. And this girl that I just saw was cradling her backpack. And she said, "I've never had my own brand new backpack."
Wow.
So it was just an awesome thing, that I thought, I've never thought of that, because every year, we were pretty poor growing up, but every year my mom made sure I had a brand new backpack. And that's just another thing that these kids don't get. So we make sure that we can give them that experience at camp.
It's amazing to hear the stories. Like when you go to the gala, you get some great information about, what went on at the last year's camp and what the plans are for this year. And it is amazing to look at my 2 children and hear those stories and think about where these children are at and try to as a father, try to put myself in the position of, what if that was my kid? And what kind of care would I want them to receive? And so I think as a community, we definitely have a responsibility. I think this is a big part of being successful, is you have a responsibility to kind of see a need, fill a need. So if you're able to do something about it, you should most definitely do something about it. And honestly, the reward of being knowing we're supporting Royal Family Kids Camp and knowing we're supporting those children is pretty phenomenal. So you and your wife have been a part of it for quite some time. Do you want to share anything about, why are you laughing? Why is that funny?
Well, great question.
I didn't even finish your question.
Go
ahead and talk.
No,
You're good.
No, go ahead.
Don't even just cut
Set
out the
me up,
segue.
Jeremy. Just
No,
set
there's
me
no
up.
setup. You're good.
Yeah, let's hear about your experience.
Well, my experience with camp has been tremendous. It's, so Amanda's been going to camp with you guys for how long now? About 4 years?
I think this might be her 5th year. I never remember.
Yeah, it's either her 4th or 5th year, I think.
Yeah.
Coming up in this August, right? First week in August, I think.
Last week in July this year.
Last week in July, good. So my wife will finally be home for my birthday. So that's, it's such a great honor to have her there for that. But
It's all about you.
It is all about me. No,
Forget about those abused kids.
no, but it's, it really is, just a great thing. And so like I've had the privilege the last few years to be able to come out for the, either the Saturday or the Sunday, or typically the Sunday, and get to pray for the camp counselors and, staff and all that fun stuff. And I really enjoy that. And, it's just a great, it's just a great thing that everyone's doing. And obviously, I have a lot of close people involved in the camp. And so, I kind of joke around, Ben and Elizabeth, they're always on me about coming out and volunteering for a week. And I've never been out there for the entire week. And,
But you have supported financially.
I have
Quite a
supported
bit.
financially.
Have you come out to camp and experienced camp at all? Like with the kids there?
I have not actually.
Have you, Jeremy?
No.
Okay.
Brittany has.
Has she really?
Yeah, she has. Wow.
This is a great year to try that.
This is a great year to try that.
Okay.
Maybe we'll now,
I
because
just-
now it's publicly out there. So
I just
Like and subscribe to get Josh and Jeremy to come to
my
camp.
gosh. Wow. So I just found out though that one of my biggest competitors for the dessert auction will not be there.
I know,
I'm
I've
worried
heard.
though about him calling in on proxy. So I talked to him yesterday about that. So I'm hoping he does not call in on proxy. So if there's some random guy in a suit off to the side bidding on desserts,
With glasses on.
yeah, I'm going to be very upset. So while we're at the gala, there's some incredible stories that we hear. So you and your husband, you guys put in a lot of work. You now have 4 children of your own.
do.
So taking an entire week out of your life and putting all it's a huge commitment from you guys and all the work to produce the gala and everything. Talk to us a little bit about what keeps you so engaged on such a high level and what makes your heart just so passionate for this group of children.
So to answer that question, I have to really kind of go back to the beginning for us. So my grandma actually is who recruited Ben and myself to come to camp. I was actually at the church that started the camp locally when it started, and I was 16, and I like to say I had no desire to serve anyone but myself at that time.
shocking.
Yeah, 16-year-old. It's crazy.
Ruthless.
So
She's made up for it.
you're coming to camp this year, right? Okay. So I had no desire to serve anyone but myself, and had just no care about it. And my grandma continued to try to recruit me to come because my grandma made pillowcases for all the campers, as well as counselors and staff. That was a big undertaking. And so finally, Ben and I got married, and we said, okay, Grandma, we'll go to camp. And I remember sitting through the first day of training and Ben and I looking at each other in the car and saying, we're going to do this for the rest of our lives. Oh, wow. And then Sunday night before camp started, I remember laying in my bed and thinking, I have no idea what I'm doing. And when those kids show up, I'm going to probably screw everything up. But it literally was life-changing for me. And I tell everyone it was not ever meant to change my life, and it totally did. After that, I changed my major, became a social worker. Ben and I became foster parents, and now we're adoptive parents. It totally changed the entire trajectory of our lives. And again, it was not meant for us. So it's amazing to just see how it works through other people as well. And so being that it was so life-changing for us, we knew that it was something that we were going to continue for forever. we have an amazing team of people. There's absolutely no way we could ever do any of this on our own or even semi on our own. And this year, my team for the gala said, we're not going to let you do as much this year. And they have not. It's been actually pretty amazing to be able to step back and say, I trust you to do this. And they have just been working hard. They've been getting donations and selling tickets, and it's been really cool. So none of this would happen, Camp the Gala, without those people. And so we take about 70 volunteers to camp. And then out of those 70 volunteers is where we also get our volunteers for the mentoring club, as well as the people who put on these amazing fundraisers. So it's a lot of teamwork. It is just a well-oiled machine that has been around for a long time. And I got to just seamlessly step in and take that part over, with Ben. So he's actually a really key component to all of that as well. Yeah. And then, of course, we do have our kids, and our kids are starting to get older, and they're starting to understand that when we take this week to go spend with other kids to have fun, that there's a purpose behind it. And so that's been really cool to watch our kids make this a ministry for themselves as well. Our oldest two are 7. And so there's not a whole lot they can do. They can't come to camp yet, but they can, pray for the kids. They do. They pray for counselors. They pray for the kids, and then they help us get stuff ready. We took them shopping this year, the day before camp, and they kept saying, Mommy, don't you think the foster kids are going to want this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, can you just keep it down? We're in the middle of Meyer. Yeah. But we were like picking out avocados apparently for foster kids. I don't know. So, but they really had a great time, and it's just cool to see their heart in it as well now too.
That's amazing. It's very significant to get your kids aware of the difference in their reality versus what can happen, allowing them not to be tied up in their own world. And with friends that we've had that, were maybe missionaries or have done some pretty extensive ministry, to your point, they have that same experience. I thought I was doing this to serve them, and in return, my life became completely different. Maybe it's a viewpoint, or maybe it's greater compassion, or whatever it may be. So now, with the years that you've gone through, can you share with us a story of how a camp attendee's life was impacted because of the work and the volunteers there?
So I feel like I have a couple stories, but one of the ones that really stands out is more at camp. I got to do night relief, which is when we let our counselors go and take a break, because they've been with these kids all day long, and we run everyone ragged. Like, we make sure they are tired by the end of the night. And so at night relief, the staff get to go in, and we get to spend time with the kids. And so I was reading a Bible story with this girl, and she couldn't really read well. And so I'm sitting there reading with her, and it talks about how Paul was in prison. And she looked at me and she said, my dad's in prison. And I'd like to say I had, a great reaction to that, but I'm pretty sure I looked very dumbfounded for a minute. And then God uses you, thank God. And I just said to her, and look how God used Paul's life to change the world. So there is a possibility that this can be a good thing, that, God uses things for good. I actually also, through my work, get to see campers past camp. And a couple years ago, when I was a counselor, I was working for an agency down in Delaware, and I had this girl who was talking to me about her brother. Do you remember my brother? He went to camp. Yeah. I remember your brother. He's great. Well, then I showed up to group one time that I was leading in the summer, and she says, hey, my brother's here. And I was like, oh, good. Because I don't remember this kid at all. So, of course, I walk in, and this kid just lights up, and he says, hey, I remember you from camp. And he's talking to me about all of these details of things that we didn't even think about, but they just made such an impact for him, down to the fact where he said, I was in the red cabin, and I remember I was in the red cabin because I walked out and there was a strip of red tape. I mean, down to the strip of tape, it just made such an impact for him that he remembered that. There's other stories of where I see kids and I know they don't remember my name, and they may not even remember where they know me from, but they just light up because they remember that they saw me in a place that was good and safe and loving. Yeah. So that's always, to me, some of the best that I get to see now. Just, it's not about me. It's about them, and it's about the impact that was made, and they get to, see us afterwards, and they remember that it was good and safe.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So if you're out there, plug in, find a way to contribute. You can connect with Royal Family Kids Camp. They can probably find you on Facebook. Is that right?
Yes, it's
Okay.
Royal Family Kids Marion.
So if they want more information about maybe even volunteering for camp, they can reach out to you that way. Definitely click on the PayPal link, even if it's $5. Give what you can. This is such an important effort happening in our community, and it's something that a lot of great people in our community have taken pride in meeting that need. And so you can be a part of this. You can attend the gala, obviously, if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to give away 2 free tickets. Anything else we need to do before we close out?
I just want to take a second and just kind of brag on Ben and Elizabeth for, a little bit. They're, obviously they are very good friends of ours, and I take a lot of, pride in the success that they're having, and I'm really fortunate to have them as friends. Look at me. Well, don't look at, there's no fly in here.
So one thing about Elizabeth is she does
like
all
to be
this
hugged.
great work for children, but she hates hugs from like friends.
Yes.
She's threatened physical violence against me if I try to hug her.
It's true.
And if you
I just threatened to
and if
touch
you
your
meet her,
face.
yeah. So you and I, maybe this is why we understand each other so well, because we come across the same way to a lot of people. But really, when you see the reality of what's done, it's like, oh my goodness, huge heart, huge, just passion for these children. It's awesome.
And both of them, I mean, they're servants to the core. And the Royal Family Kids Camp is the camp once a week, and like they kind of saw that excuse me, that it was not really, it was a great week, and what they were doing was fantastic. And then when you implemented the mentoring program last year, was it? I think it was.
And Miriam has done that.
Yeah. And so,
really cool.
being able to extend that so it's not just a one touch once a week. And so we're really trying to really end that cycle of being abused and neglected. Because I'm sure the statistics, I'm sure they're out there, that when if kids are abused and neglected when they grow up, or when they're a kid, they grow up and their parents, I'm sure they do what they know. Mm-hmm. And so being able to show them that love and demonstrate the love and serve them, it gets me excited, even though I'm not there during the week.
Yeah.
But we are praying, we are believing for, God to just do some amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
She's actually making eye contact with me.
I know, it's
And
really hard.
Because
I know the camera is watching.
Yeah.
Should we get a hug on camera?
Yes,
No.
we should, for the children.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, no hugs.
No?
I don't get beat up.
Well, this is How Stupid People Succeed. I'm Josh. This is Jeremy. She's not stupid, but she's with us, and she is successful in life with Royal Family Kids. And make sure you share, comment below, and make sure click on that PayPal link and donate some money.
Yeah.
We're going for $750.
$750.
And for each share we get out of those shares from this podcast today, we are going to give away 2 tickets at random.
Yep.
Correct?
It should be easy to get 50 shares.
Should be. It's
Easy.
good.
It'd be great.
So $750 is what we're looking for.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's take care of them.
Let's do it.